Listen. I asked you before not to fall in love with me, right?
Yeah, I know that.
Good. Don't love me. That way I can keep loving you.
It's hard to put into words how it feels to watch bloom into you. At least beyond the obvious adjectives. Beautiful and painful. Beautiful because, well, just look at it. The cinematography is inspired. The color choices are gorgeous. Shots will linger just long enough to set the mood, to draw you in. Bloom into you is like a fairy tale. It may not have fantastical elements like wizards, dragons, or castles. But there is one fantastical element it has in spades. Romance. Genuine love. Beyond the visuals, the content itself is beautiful. The story is beautiful. But if the anime is so packed full of romance and love and beauty, very powerful positive emotions, then why does watching it hurt so much? Why is Bloom into you so painful? Well, to understand that, we need to understand the context of this romance. Then we'll understand why this young love is so tragic, so unfair. And along the way, we'll see firsthand just how cinematic this anime is. But in discussing these topics, I'll be spoiling the story and a lot of its most impactful contents. I won't cover everything, I'm only going to talk about the two main characters and leave to the wayside all the other, still important but less needed aspects of this anime. So please watch it for yourself if you haven't already. Then come back to this video. Before you leave though, please leave a like and a subscribe. With the preamble done, I can begin setting the stage. The protagonist of Bloom Into You is Yu Koito, a girl obsessed with romance stories, romance songs, and, well, the concept of love in general. She can't wait to fall in love, to feel the fireworks, the weightlessness, the magic described in romance media. But there's a problem. She's never felt that way about anyone.
I don't need a dictionary to know what that little word really means, or that it's way too big a word for me.
There have never been fireworks. There's never even been a spark. It's alienating. So she's starting off high school in a bit of a low spot. Luckily, it turns out she's not alone. After joining the student council, she meets Toko Nanami, another girl who, like you, cannot feel romantic love.
Whenever someone said that they like me, it's just never made my heart flutter.
They're the same. Toko is constantly rejecting advances from others. Yu thinks she's found a kindred spirit. Someone she can confide in, someone who understands how she feels.
I thought I was supposed to feel something like fireworks, but I never have.
Yu even asks Toko to support her while she rejects an old advance from one of her closest to junior high friends.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
This moment awakens something in Toko. Maybe Yu has never felt the fireworks of love, but for the first time ever.
I think I'm finally feeling it now.
After realizing she's gone too far, Toko backs down, says to forget the whole thing. And life goes on like nothing happened. Toko even asks Yu to be her campaign manager as she runs for class president. Yu agrees, but because they're going to be working together so closely, she wants to clear the air with Toko. What was that in the student council room? Just an act in the heat of the moment, right? That's understandable, more or less. But Yu is willing to move past it if Toko is.
Toko? Hey.
It wasn't the heat of the moment. I know exactly what it was I felt.
If you're anything like me, after watching this scene you might have thought, wow, they sure are moving quickly. It's only episode 2, the first half of episode 2, and there's already been a passionate confession of love? This might be fast for a traditional romance, but Bloom Into You is not a traditional romance.
My first kiss. And I didn't feel a thing.
This isn't a story of two people gradually forming a relationship over the course of a season, or 2 seasons, or 3. This story sets up the relationship very quickly, and it instead takes time exploring the unbelievably complicated emotions that come with this even more unbelievably complicated relationship. This is what makes Bloom Into You so unique. This is what makes it feel so different. The difference starts here, with this scene. Their first kiss, 2 episodes in. Things can never go back to normal after Toko pulled a move like that. She is head over heels in love with you, but you just can't feel the same.
Toko and I are different. I'm incapable of following where her wings have taken her.
The feelings of love are one-sided. Toko knows that you will never fall in love with her, so she makes a request of you instead.
Let me love you?
It's a bizarre and somewhat selfish request, but this is the first time Toko has ever felt these feelings.
I didn't know until recently that I could even feel this way myself. I do not want to give up this feeling.
Yu somewhat reluctantly agrees. I mean, she wouldn't want to abandon them either if she actually got to feel them. Only 2 episodes in, and our main characters are together. But it's not exceptionally happy. It feels kind of wrong, kind of off.
This girl really is unfair.
Toko is normally a headstrong and all-conquering kind of person, but Yu's very presence is enough to turn her into putty. I think it's so cute seeing Toko all flustered like this. For as tough as she acts, deep down, she's actually a very vulnerable person. It's something she hides. She wants everyone to see her as perfect, but you can see through the skies.
Showing me when you're weak, it honestly doesn't change a thing. It's okay.
Toko spends every moment of every day pretending to be flawless and capable. She's putting on a mask of perfection that isn't hers. It must be exhausting and stressful, but you can see through it. She's the only one who ever even tried.
You're the only one who gets to see this.
Toko can finally let her guard down around someone. It must feel liberating. But it's also sad that she feels she needs to put on a mask at all. For some reason, she just can't be herself.
Trying to put on some brave face all on your own. How utterly stupid can you be?
Yu is kind and unconditionally accepting of who Toko is, whoever she presents herself as. Obviously, this makes Toko love Yu even more. Who wouldn't love someone as kind as her? Toko makes another selfish request of Yu.
Hey, you? Kiss me?
Even though Yu doesn't feel the same, doesn't feel any attraction,
Well, it's not as if I hated or anything. And if I said I wasn't interested, well, I'd be lying.
this dynamic is how these two will act for most of the series. Toko desires to be closer to Yu, and Yu is passively along for the ride, not really liking or disliking these moments.
She has such long eyelashes.
Toko is happy, and Yu is indifferent. It's so
Unfair.
After this, they end up spending a lot of time together to study for upcoming midterms. With their time together, Toko's affection only grows. Yu may not feel the same way, but
You just seem like you need me. So if you ask me to stay by your side, that's what I'll do.
there may not be any romantic feelings, though Yu is still friends with Toko. Moreover, she's kind. So Yu is more than happy to be there to support her and to spend time with her. Knowing that all this time will be spent in Toko's passionate radiance, Yu wonders to herself,
Will my feelings towards her stay exactly the same? I'd hate that.
she's holding out hope that maybe, just maybe, she'll get to feel those fireworks too. Trying to feel the same way back means learning more about Toko. Unfortunately, Toko isn't just hiding her true self behind a mask. She's also hiding her past. A past that Yu has to uncover.
Mio Nanami is Toko Nanami's older sister, actually.
But wait, I remember her saying to me that she didn't have any siblings.
Well, that is true now. Her sister passed away. Traffic accident. Toko is actually exactly like her sister. It's almost as if they were twins.
So that's why Toko is so dead set on pretending to be perfect. She's trying to be like her sister, someone who was naturally perfect and loved by all before she died.
She was idolized by everyone. Even the teachers relied on her from time to time.
Toko isn't living in her sister's shadow, she's become it. Yu is worried that Toko might be pushing herself too far into this, spreading herself too thin. She cares about Toko and tries to talk her into letting go of her sister's personality.
I think it'd be best if you were just true to yourself, you know? And I know there are people who will be fond of the real you too. Because I already know the real you.
But Toko doesn't agree. She's creating distance away from you.
I would rather die than hear any of that again.
This statement puts a very big rift between Toko and Yu. She likes being herself well enough around Yu, but she just isn't willing to give up being like her sister around everyone else. She thinks her sister is the better of the two of them. She'd rather be special like her sister instead of ordinary like her true self.
But if I have to let her go, who else is there for me to learn to love?
Even so, you can still see through Toko. Yu knows she's lonely. Yu knows that Toko needs her. Yu knows what to say to close the gap that's formed between them.
Toko, I can't fall in love with either side of you.
Will you still stay with me?
I already told you. If you ask me to stay by your side, then that's what I'll do.
Yu will do anything Toko asks of her. That's just the kind of person she is. Will she help Toko with the student council? Yes. Stay by her side? Yes. And she's lonely, either for her? Yes. And won't fall in love with anyone else? Yes. You can't say there isn't something beautifully tragic about their relationship. One who's embarked on the journey of love for the first time, and one who's desperate yet unable to follow.
I'm lonely too.
Things can change, though. There's still time for you to feel the fireworks, to change into someone who does love Toku. That's what they both want, isn't it?
Whatever you do, don't change. Never fall in love with me.
Oh. Oh no. That's a very uncomfortable demand. Her reason? She thinks that if you ever changed, her feelings would change too. Toko is afraid she'll stop being in love, something that she doesn't want to lose. This moment twists the dial on their relationship away from beautiful and closer to tragic. One who loves only because she's not loved back. And one who's desperate to love but is unable and now forbidden to do so. Suffice it to say, this is a dark revelation. It's not all doom and gloom. They still make sure to remind us just how cute they are from time to time.
I think as my upperclassman, logic dictates you're free to call me whatever you want.
Then, dear?
That me?
You can see it plain as day. They have chemistry. They undeniably make each other happy. Seeing them together, it honestly makes me happy too. I just want them to figure it out. Toko's even making an effort to be considerate through her selfish requests.
I'm worried that I might be taking advantage. Huh? Are you sure you're okay?
She doesn't want you to become annoyed by her, to get sick of her. Little does she realize, those kinds of thoughts could not be further away from Yu's mind.
You showing up when you did was absolutely perfect. And it made me really happy.
As student council members, they're kept super busy, preparing for various school events. The next one up is Sports Day. They've barely seen each other, let alone had a conversation. When they do run into each other, Toko can't help herself. But they still have a lot to get done. Yu reminds Toko they need to get back on track. They can't waste time hiding alone in storage sheds.
If I'm good and behave myself, when sports day is over, I want a special reward.
Toko wants Yu to initiate a kiss with her. That's what she wants for abstaining until all their work is done. There certainly is a lot of work to do. The student council even has to compete in the relay event, with Toko running the final stretch. Yu's sitting on the sidelines, watching her run, cheering her on. Cheering her on like this, Yu notices Toko looks different. Yu's seen her 1,000 times, so why is now different? What's changed?
I'm lonely too. Who else is there for me to learn to love? I thought I was supposed to feel something like fireworks. And if I said I wasn't interested, well, I'd be lying.
I know exactly what it was I felt.
And it made me really happy. I already know the real you.
Dear?
That me?
So if you ask me to stay by your side, that's what I'll do.
Sports day is over, and Toko wants her kiss from Yu.
I can hear a heartbeat. But that must be hers.
What does Yu really feel? Sports day is a turning point for her. After today, she has genuinely fallen in love with Toko.
Because it can't be mine. Because it's beating way too fast.
But it didn't feel the way she was expecting. There weren't fireworks. It was more like having your back to a campfire, only feeling the heat after it's become a roaring flame. You thought love was supposed to be big and magical and the most important thing in her entire life. But it's not. Love can be slow. It can take its time. It can build. This isn't what you thinks love should feel like. Even if it was, she's not allowed to love Toko. The relationship only works if it's one-sided. It's so hard to watch. Yu's absolutely in love, but she's forced to deny it. Not just hide it from Toko, but hide it from herself. These circumstances are so unfair. It doesn't matter how much denial she's in. The change has already happened. She does feel love. She is a different person now.
Her silky smooth hair and her long eyelashes, her soft skin. That's all superficial stuff that anyone can appreciate.
Toko can sense the change. She thinks it's a negative change that she created.
Guess I took things a little too far last time. I need to slow down so that she doesn't hate me.
When she brings up her concern to Yu says not to worry about it. She even says she's happy when Toko has her way with her.
I've been more than happy to sit back and let her do whatever she likes. I can't be the one who starts anything.
Even if she doesn't want to force herself on Yu, she only has so much willpower. Just one phone call won't hurt. In fact, it helps.
Talking with you really does calm me down. Her curt replies to even trivial conversations, her understated reactions.
Talking with her always makes me feel anxious, I guess. And I'm dealing with her, I can't think of anybody else. But I kind of like it.
They need each other. It would be horrible if they didn't end up together. Yu knows she can't appear too eager, and Toko doesn't want to overstep. But they can't stay away from each other forever. It's too painful to do that.
If we go to your place now, I really won't be able to hold back anymore.
I don't mind.
We're back where this video began. Doesn't matter how much stress exists in their lives. When they're together like this, nothing else matters. All anxiety just melts away. As beautiful as this is, it's also so terribly tragic. Now that we've gotten here naturally, Toko's words from the start of the video make a bit more sense. She needs to remain unloved by you, because
I hate myself. Do you understand? And I can't be in love with someone who likes things that I hate. Follow me? So don't love me. That way I can keep loving you.
Except it's plain to see, Yu already loves Toko. It's ironic. The only way they can stay together is if Yu pretends that she doesn't. It's beautiful and sad and wonderful and horrible. You're so desperate to see them work things out. They both deserve to love and be loved. Are they going to make it? Unfortunately, the anime doesn't really provide an answer. The final episode sees Yu and Toko going on a cute little date to the aquarium. It ends very nicely, but things don't get fully resolved. The adaptation only covered the first half of the manga, and a season 2 is astronomically unlikely at this point. The manga is finished, so at least an avenue to complete the story does exist. But it's such a shame to not see the story concluded in an audio-visual format. The anime is wonderful. It's cinema. All of its aspects come together to make something just beautiful. That being said, the manga is also really good. It's actually the only manga I've ever read. I had to know how the story ended. Speaking of endings, this is where I leave you. Bloom Into You is indescribable. It's complicated, it's romantic, it's beautiful, and it's painful. I hope you liked hearing my thoughts on this work of art. If you did, please subscribe and stick around. You might like this other video I made on the anime Shiki. It's similar to this one. I don't think I will ever stop thinking about Bloom Into You. It deserves to be remembered forever. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.
Come on. You and me. It's time we got going.